Some vanishings aren't marked by struggle, but by silence. A life interrupted, a future stolen, leaving behind only echoes and unanswered questions. We search for patterns in the chaos, for meaning in the void. But sometimes, the truth remains elusive, hidden beneath layers of time and speculation.
Every mystery has a story, but not every story has an answer. Every week, we uncover the chilling cases that have haunted investigators for years. Unsolved disappearances, cold cases, and the darkest secrets waiting to be discovered. Are you ready to uncover the truth? Join us, if you dare. The Unsolved Chronicle.
Stephanie Damron was 23, a bookkeeper with a quiet ambition and a fiancé eagerly awaiting their wedding. She lived a life defined by routine, by small joys and simple pleasures. But on a cold November evening in 1948, that routine was shattered. She walked into the fog, and never walked back. What happens when a person disappears from the periphery, not in a blaze of notoriety, but in the quiet anonymity of everyday life? When the clues are fragmented, the witnesses unreliable, and the investigation stalls. We are left with shadows, with possibilities that haunt the edges of our understanding. Was it a random act of violence? A carefully planned abduction? Or something far more complex? The city remembers, even when the world forgets. This is the story of Stephanie Damron, and the mystery that continues to grip the small town of Havenwood. Stephanie Damron, born in 1925, was a lifelong resident of Havenwood, Ohio. She was described by friends and family as a kind, reserved woman with a strong work ethic. She worked as a bookkeeper at the local hardware store, a position she held for 5 years. Stephanie was engaged to be married to Thomas Bell, a carpenter, and they were planning a small wedding in the spring of 1949. On November 12, 1948, Stephanie finished her shift at the hardware store around 5 p.m. She told her coworker, Mrs. Henderson, that she was going to the library to return a book and then walk home. The library was approximately a 10-minute walk from the store, and her home was another 15 minutes beyond that. Stephanie was last seen leaving the Havenwood Public Library at approximately 5:45 p.m. The librarian, Mr. Abernathy, recalled seeing her exit the building, carrying a book and a small handbag. He noted nothing unusual about her demeanor. This is the last confirmed sighting of Stephanie Damron. Thomas Bell became concerned when Stephanie didn't arrive home for dinner. He initially assumed she had been delayed, but after several hours, he contacted the Havenwood Police Department. The initial investigation, led by Sheriff Howard Davies, focused on the possibility of a simple misunderstanding. Perhaps Stephanie had decided to visit a friend or had taken a different route home. However, as the night wore on, and no word came from Stephanie, the investigation escalated. Police interviewed Stephanie's family, friends, and co-workers. Everyone described her as reliable and predictable. She had no known enemies and had never expressed any desire to leave Havenwood. Her bank account remained untouched. Her belongings were still at home. A search of the route between the library and Stephanie's home was conducted. Volunteers from the community joined the search, combing the streets and surrounding woods. A small, blue scarf belonging to Stephanie was found near the creek, approximately halfway between the library and her house. This discovery raised concerns that Stephanie may have been the victim of foul play. Newspapers began to report on the disappearance, initially as a missing person case, then with growing alarm. Stephanie Damron became known in the press as the Havenwood Mystery. The investigation expanded to include a canvass of the surrounding area. Flyers with Stephanie's photograph were distributed. Rewards were offered for information leading to her whereabouts. Despite the efforts, the trail went cold. In December 1948, a local farmer reported finding a woman's glove near his field, several miles outside of Havenwood. The glove was identified as belonging to Stephanie. This discovery suggested that she may have been taken further afield than initially believed. The case remained open for several years, but with limited leads, it gradually faded from public attention. Sheriff Davies continued to pursue every possible angle, but ultimately, the investigation stalled. The case was officially classified as unsolved in 1953. Theories and oddities. Theory 1, the traveling salesman. One of the earliest theories centered around a traveling salesman, Arthur Finch, who was known to frequent Havenwood. Finch was selling encyclopedias door-to-door and had been seen in the area on the day of Stephanie's disappearance. Some investigators believe he may have encountered Stephanie on her walk home and offered her a ride, which she may have accepted. Supporting this theory is the fact that Finch had a prior arrest for petty theft. He also had a reputation for being overly persistent with potential customers. However, Finch vehemently denied any involvement and provided an alibi, claiming he was in a neighboring town at the time of Stephanie's disappearance. His alibi was partially corroborated by a hotel clerk, but inconsistencies remained. A puzzling detail suggests a possible connection. A witness reported seeing a dark-colored car, similar to Finch's, speeding away from the area near the creek shortly after Stephanie was last seen. However, the witness's identification was uncertain. Furthermore, no physical evidence linking Finch to Stephanie was ever found. This has led to speculation that Finch was a person of interest, but ultimately, the evidence was insufficient to warrant an arrest. Theory 2, the disgruntled suitor. Another theory involves a local man, Harold Jenkins, who had reportedly been romantically interested in Stephanie but had been repeatedly rejected. Some believe Jenkins may have become obsessed with Stephanie and, in a fit of desperation, abducted her. The origin of this theory stems from rumors circulating within the community about Jenkins's unrequited affection for Stephanie. It's speculated that he may have been stalking her and saw an opportunity to take her when she was walking home alone. Supporting this is the fact that Jenkins had a history of erratic behavior and had been known to have a volatile temper. However, there is no concrete evidence linking Jenkins to Stephanie's disappearance. Jenkins denied any involvement and claimed he was at home with his family on the night of the disappearance. His alibi was corroborated by his wife, but some investigators questioned its reliability. A strange coincidence is that Jenkins abruptly left Havenwood shortly after Stephanie vanished, relocating to another state. This has led to speculation that he was fleeing something, or someone. But it could also be explained by his desire to start a new life. Theory 3, the opportunistic drifter. A third theory posits that Stephanie was the victim of an opportunistic drifter, someone passing through Havenwood with no known connection to the town. This theory gained traction due to the lack of a clear motive and the absence of any personal connection between Stephanie and potential suspects. Supporting this is the fact that Havenwood was located near a major highway, attracting a constant flow of travelers. It's possible a drifter was looking for an easy target and saw Stephanie as a vulnerable victim. One puzzling detail suggests this possibility: a similar disappearance occurred in a neighboring town just months before Stephanie vanished. The victim, a young woman named Margaret Olson, was also last seen walking alone. The cases were never officially linked, but some investigators believe they may have been the work of the same perpetrator. This has led to speculation that a serial offender was operating in the region, targeting vulnerable young women. However, the lack of forensic evidence and the difficulty of tracking transient criminals made it impossible to pursue this theory effectively. The Olson case also remained unsolved, further complicating the investigation. Case status plus call to action. The Havenwood Police Department, with assistance from the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation, officially closed the case in 1958. However, the case was reopened in 2018 as part of a cold case review initiative. Digitized files and advancements in forensic technology have allowed investigators to re-examine the evidence. DNA testing on the scarf and glove is currently underway, though results have yet to yield any significant leads. The disappearance of Stephanie Damron remains a haunting mystery for the town of Havenwood. What detail lingers in your mind? Which theory feels closest to the truth, or do you have another? Share your respectful thoughts below. Sometimes, the coldest cases thaw with fresh eyes. In memory of Stephanie Damron, not a headline, but a life. Not a mystery to solve, but a person to remember.